Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Alexis and this is Wild Houseplants. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from the previous videos that I've posted, only in the sense that rather than focusing on a particular theme today, I'm just going to be tackling lots of things that need to be done with my plants. I've been away for 5 days and I know it's only 5 days, but a lot seems to have happened in those 5 days, some good and some bad. So we need to tackle some pests. We need to look at some updates, some lovely new leaves that have happened. And I've got a list as long as my arm of plant chores that I've been putting off or not had time to do. And I just need to really get on and tackle them. So I've got a long list and we're going to make our way through that list. And I hope that this is the kind of video that you like to watch, because it's the kind of video that I like to watch on YouTube. So it's just going to be kind of chilled and just try and get on top of some things. So maybe if you've got some plant chores that you need to do as well, you can watch and we can do them together. But if you don't follow me over on Instagram, you can find me there at Wild Houseplants, and I would love it if you do enjoy this video today to hit that subscribe button below, because it really helps out my channel. Okay, let's get into the plant chores. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be tackling today is actually planting up my Caladium bulbs. Now I'm filming this end of May, and I'm going to say 2 months late to plant up these bulbs. Yeah, I bought them from Farmer Gracie, which is a grower in the Netherlands, and they arrived, I'm going to say 6 weeks ago, and I've been meaning to pot them up and I've been meaning to find time to film, but I just haven't found the time, so I haven't done it. And now I'm pretty much feel like we're heading into the core part of the growing season and I haven't even planted them up yet. So basically, if you don't know much about caladiums, they are a very thin-leafed, beautiful plant. They come in lots of different colours, and the ones I really like are the white and green leaves and the pink leaves, but they can also come in red and lots of different colours. They're really vibrant. Lots of people grow them outside, but they are quite delicate plants, and our weather here in the UK at the moment doesn't know what it's doing, and so yeah, it's up and down with temperatures, and it's windy today, and I just don't really want to put these outside. So I grow them inside for the spring and summer months, even though the spring is pretty much done. And then they will start to die off in sort of October, November time normally for me, and they will go dormant, and then you can store the bulbs and then you can replant them again in the spring. And normally I should have done that end of March, but as you can see, I haven't done that. So I've got 3 different types. I've got 2 which is sort of like that white and green variety, and I've got 1 which is a very pale pink, I believe. So I grew caladiums for the first time 2 summers ago, I think, and I bought them from Farmer Gracie. I potted them up and they were absolutely stunning. I'll put in some pictures of the ones I grew 2 years ago. And then last year I basically overwintered the bulbs and then I replanted them again in the spring. But I don't know what I did differently, but it didn't quite work out so well. Some of them rotted, some of them just didn't really do anything. So I'm not sure. You should be able to basically overwinter them and then replant them up, and they should spring into action again. But yeah, that didn't happen for me. So I bought new bulbs this time, and I'm going to get around to planting these up. And I'm just thinking about what substrate to use, because previously I used both perlite, just perlite on its own, and then a soil, and both did really well. But the ones in perlite did like amazingly. And obviously I watered them with like fertilized water, so they were getting some nutrients, but they really enjoyed being in perlite. So I'm thinking I might do some in perlite and some in soil. And yeah, and then I'm going to put them in the brightest room in my house, which is my loft, where they get lots of bright light and bright indirect light from 2 huge south-facing skylights, and hope that I can sort of kickstart them into growing quickly. So that is the plan. So yeah, I'm just going to get my bits and bobs together, get some pots, get some soil, get some perlite, and we will pot these up. Okay, I've brought you in a little bit closer so you can sort of see what I'm doing. So I have 3 types. The Caladium candidum, which I think I've had before. The Florida Sweetheart, which I don't think I've had before. That's the pink one, I think. And then the Caladium Aran, which again, maybe I've had it before. I can't remember. But they come in these really cute little brown parcels with sawdust inside. And then you get your bulbs, which look like this. Gnarly little things. And it can be quite difficult to work out which way to plant them sometimes. But basically you want to put the flattest bit at the bottom and the bit with the, sort of the gnarly, knobbly bit sort of going upwards, because that's where the plant's going to sprout from. You can actually see that this one's starting to sprout a little bit already. But sometimes it's easier than others to work out which way they go round. But I mean, I wouldn't worry too much, but yeah, sort of the flatter bit towards the bottom. And I don't know why, and I can't remember if I read this somewhere or something, but I definitely did this 2 years ago, which is I got some lukewarm water here, and I'm just going to place my bulbs in there to, I don't know, just sort of like wake them up a little bit. I could be completely making this up, but I feel like I did it 2 years ago and it worked. So yeah, pop that one in there. And this one. And I'm also upping and ahhing, because I'm pretty sure last time I did it, I planted the bulbs all separately, waited for them to sprout, and then I joined them together. But I'm thinking, like, I'm already 2 months behind. I might just plant them together and get a really full looking plant straight away. So yeah, that is what I'm thinking. Making sure there's nothing else in there. No, just the sawdust. Okay, so let's do, because I don't want to get them confused, I'm doing the Aran ones first. So I've got 3 bulbs there, and I'm going to get a pot, and I'm going to put these ones in. I don't think I've got that much perlite, so maybe I'll put these ones into soil. Okay, so I've got my soil mix here. This is just a mix of houseplant soil, perlite and orchid bark, but I think it should be enough moisture retentive ingredients in there to keep the bulbs happy. So I've got 3 pots from my garden. I want a little bit bigger than I would have liked, but they're clear, and I want to keep an eye on any roots that start forming. So I'm thinking I don't have to fill them all the way up, and then once the bulbs start growing, I can always move them into a different pot or something like that. But right now, this is all I've got, and I just need to get on with potting these up. So I'm going to add a little bit into the bottom here. Like that. Then I'm going to get my bulbs that have just been soaking here, and I'm going to pop them in. And try and space them out a little bit. I hope it's enough room for them. Like I say, I normally would plant these up all separately, but I'm short of time. So if you're a Caladium person, please feel free to tell me I'm doing it all wrong in the comments and give me some advice. But for now, I think that is what I am going to do. And I'll give that a water once I'm finished with the others, and we will see what happens. But like I say, 2 years ago, it went perfectly. So yeah, hopefully it will work out all right this year as well. So for the next one, let's put my thing down here. Let's do the next ones in perlite, I think. So these are the Florida Sweetheart. Put them in the water just to give them a little whatever I think it's going to do. hydrate them, of course. Once we're finished, oh, it's a teeny tiny one. Once we're finished potting up these caladiums, I'm going to show you some new plants that I bought yesterday. So we've been away in Wales for half term, and I love going to garden centres wherever we go. And I sort of said to my husband, please take me to a garden centre. He grew up in Wales, so near where he was growing up. I said, please take me to a garden centre. So we went to one in Abergavenny, and it was really good. I was like really impressed with the houseplants there. Better than the ones I get near me, to be honest. And yeah, so I was like, went in there and I bought myself 4 plants. Or was it 5? 1, 2, 3, 5, but 4 of them are very small, so I think that's okay. So yeah, I will show you those after we've done this as well. Okay, so for this one, I really should be wearing a mask because the dust from the don't breathe it in, don't do what I do. Okay, so again, just going to take our little bulbs. And like this one is one that's a little bit more difficult to figure out, like, because it all looks quite bumpy and gnarly, but I'm thinking that that is the flattest point. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'll just step away again while I do this. Okay, that's that one done. As you can see, I'm doing this in a bit of a rush because it's just been on my to-do list for so long. I feel like quite infuriated with myself that I haven't got around to doing it before. So, last ones are the Caladium. And then what I tend to do, because they've all got these lovely labels on them, I'll take these labels off and I will stick them on the pot so I know which pot has which kind of bulb in it. And then I will keep these little things with the sawdust in them for when we come to like autumn, winter, and I need to basically, I tend to take them out of the soil. You can leave them in the soil and just stop watering them, but I don't have space in my house for just like ugly empty pots with a bit of soil in them. So just from an aesthetic point of view, I tend to take them out of the soil and then I'll put the bulbs back in here and store them until next summer, and hope that this time I'm more successful at, oh, this one came with an extra little bit. More successful at planting them the second time round, so yeah, we will see. Okay, you have a little soak in there, my friends. And then actually, while those are having a little soak, let's try and peel this. Oops, throwing sawdust everywhere. Let's try. I did it before, so it is possible. Is it possible? Oh. Patience, Alexis, patience. Patience. It's not the most beautiful thing, but you get the point. At least I know which one is which. And that is Florida Sweetheart. Florida. Oh no. Okay, so I've used the labels from the little bags they came in and just sellotaped it on here. It's not the most neat and tidy and wonderful thing. If I was the kind of person that had a label maker, then that's what I would do, but I'm not. I'm too disorganized for that. So this is what we're doing instead. And for the last one, I'm umming and ahhing about whether to do soil or perlite, but I'm thinking perlite again because it just worked for me so well. And then this will be the end of my perlite, so I definitely need to order some more perlite. And as I say, like, once they've sprouted, there's absolutely no harm in me changing up the substrate and putting them into soil, or I've never tried them in semi-hydro. I don't know if that might work quite well. I mean, considering Alocasia work really well in semi-hydro, and although Caladiums are not like Alocasia, they do not like to dry out, similar to Alocasia. And considering I had issues with root rot last time, it might be an option. I'm not going to try at this point, but maybe I will try moving them later on once they have established. Okay, end of the perlite. Note to myself to order some more. Okay, and now all we have to do is water these guys. So I'm gonna make up some fertilised water and then we can give them water. Okay, so we're just gonna finish off by watering these through. So I've got my fertilised water here. I use the liquid gold leaf fertiliser. I've been using it for 2 years, maybe more, maybe longer. And my husband has made me a coffee, so I'm just gonna enjoy that. Yeah, and I love the liquid gold leaf. I have had really great results. My plants are really happy. So I 100% recommend it if you're looking for a fertiliser. Okay, let's put this one over here. And then I'm just going to keep an eye on the moisture levels and wait to see little signs of sprouting plants. And the soil one. It'll be interesting to see which one roots faster. I'm just going to use this water here that I had them soaking in because there's nothing wrong with it. It'll be interesting to see. My guess is it'll be the ones in perlite. I just think so many of my plants are really happy growing just in perlite at the moment. It's like my saving grace when it comes to plants that are struggling, or I don't know, anything. They just love it. I think they just really enjoy just the amount of air and aeration around the roots. So we will see what happens with these. And I'm so relieved I've got this plant chore off my to-do list, because I can't tell you how many to-do lists I've written where it's on the top of the list and I've just not done it. Okay, I'm going to set these aside just to soak off a bit. I'm going to tidy up here and then I'm going to show you my new plants that I purchased yesterday. Okay, so now it's time to show you some plants that I purchased yesterday. So as I said, we were in Wales and near Abergavenny. So if any of you live near there or you want to know where I got these from, just send me a message on Instagram and I'll get back to you with where it was, because I think I've got some sort of bargains. I don't want to drop anyone in trouble at the shop, but looking up things, I think I was maybe mispriced some things. But the first thing I got was this string of turtles. I have wanted this peperomia for such a long time, but I've struggled to find one that looked as full as this. And because they're quite delicate, it's not one I've wanted to order online because they can sort of break quite easily in the post and stuff. But yeah, just look how full that basket is. And this one was priced up at £22, which I think I'm really happy to pay £22 for a nice full basket like that. As you can see, it's got loads of flowers at the moment, and I'm just going to get it to sit up in my skylight here in my kitchen and just see how it gets on. But yeah, really, really happy with that one. Oh, see, look, they're just falling off all the time. One I've wanted for a long time. So yeah, that's the first one. And then up next, this one I have never seen or heard anything about, and I feel like it's not even real. It's called Peris or Petris Critica albo-lineata, and it's a little fern, but it's got like pink, like it honestly looks and feels like it's been spray painted with pink, but I've looked it up and it is a legit plant. And I just think it's so beautiful. It's like sparkly. I'll put in a close up. It's like sparkly and sort of glittery, and it honestly feels like it's not even real. I need to do a little bit more research on it, but I got this one for £6. Obviously it's a small little one. I have a feeling it might be quite dramatic and I might need to get it in a cloche or maybe a terrarium. I think that will look beautiful in the terrarium. But yeah, I just saw it and I'd never seen it before, and I love ferns, and I thought, yeah, I can't pass that one up. So yeah, just a little, I mean, if you have heard of this one or you have this one, please drop me a comment below and let me know how you care for yours, if it's one of the more dramatic ferns like the maidenhair fern, or if it's a little bit more chill. But yeah, I just think it feels like, it's like, I can't even describe it. It's such a bizarre texture, like really sort of rough and scratchy. But yeah, so cool. So I had to get that one. And then there were lots of little plants and they hadn't been priced up yet. And when I took them to the till, they charged me £3.50, I think, for these next 3 plants. So this one here is actually a Pelea. I can't remember the exact name. I'll pop it on the screen, but it looks so cool. I've seen this one before, but I haven't actually seen it in person. I've not seen it in any of the garden centres near me, and I just think it's so fuzzy and the texture is so awesome, and it doesn't look anything like a Pelea, but I just love it. And I need to do a little bit more research on this one. Again, if you have this one, please let me know in the comments how you look after it, because this is a new one for me. So yeah, but just couldn't resist that texture. So cool. And last one I got was 2 of the same, which is the Aglaonema tricolor. Now, when I've looked into getting this plant before, it's been very hard to get hold of, and if you can get hold of it, it's been really quite expensive. Now I've found some online plant shops that are selling this for like £18 to £25 for one this size, and I got these for £3.50 each. And again, I think it might be because they hadn't priced them up yet, and so when I got to the till, they didn't have any prices on them, so she just said, oh, small plant, £3.50. But yeah, I don't know if I've got away with a bargain, or if they are actually just selling them for £3.50 and they are much more reasonable than the online plant shops. I don't know, but yeah, they are very small at the moment. That's why I bought 2. I'm going to pop them up together once they've acclimated, and hopefully I can then grow in a nice full lush plant a little bit quicker when you've got 2. When, as a general rule, if I'm buying a small plant, I will often buy 2. My general rule is if they're under £12, buy 2. That's not always the case, but if I'm looking to make an impact quite quickly, then to buy 2 and pop them up together, and you get a fuller plant much more quickly. I did that with my Oxalis triangularis, and that is now a really big full plant. In fact, let me just get you that one to show you it, because it's looking really good at the moment. So here is my Oxalis triangularis. As you can see, just looking really full and healthy. This was actually one of the plant chores I did get around to doing, which is sizing this one up. It was in about a 14 centimetre pot, I think. And I've sized it up to, oh no, this is only 50. I must have been in a 12 centimetre pot, and I sized it up to a 15. And so, yeah, it was just bursting at the seams, drying out really quickly all the time. So I did size it up because I didn't want to leave it for 5 days and come back and it would have been like dry, crispy sadness. So I did manage to quickly size this one up before I left. And yeah, when I came back, it was still looking nice. I have given it a drink this morning, but it wasn't looking super sad, super floppy. And yeah, this was a good example of buying 2 small plants, potting them up together, and then in no time you get a nice full plant like this. I just love this one so much. Love, love, love. Right, back to plant chores. And the next thing on the list is to pot up these Monstera Adansonii cuttings. Basically, I had quite a big full Monstera Adansonii and I just didn't like the way it was growing. When I have a plant and I don't like what it looks like, or I don't like how it's growing, or I just cut it up and start again. So that's exactly what I did here. Now I am going to save one of these pot of cuttings because I want to get this on a moss pole. These are one of the really best plants for getting on a moss pole and getting them to size up. If you follow somebody like Sydney Plant Guy or Plants with Melissa, they both have these absolutely humongous Monstera Adansonii that they've grown up moss poles, chopped it and put a new moss pole on top, continued to grow it. And basically you use sphagnum moss and the roots grow into the moss and it's like an extension of the substrate, and the plant goes bananas and is like living its best life, climbing up as it would in nature. And I did have a Monstera Adansonii on a pole a year ago. I'll put in a picture. It was starting to do really well and starting to size up, but it then went down with a disease called mosaic disease, which is I've noticed to be pretty prominent with Monstera Adansonii, and often when I go to somewhere like B&Q, I will see that a lot of the Adansonii there have this disease. It basically, again, I can put some pictures in, but the leaves will start to sort of pucker a little bit. You might get some discoloration on the leaves, and people sometimes mistake that for sport variegation. But it is in fact mosaic disease, and there is no cure for it. So, and it can transmit to your other plants that it's around. And I don't know a huge amount about it, but I decided that I just didn't want a plant that was looking sad in my collection and could potentially infect other plants around it. So I just got rid of the whole plant, and I was very sad about it. But luckily I had another one. And so I've still got one in my collection. But yeah, I chopped this one up. I'm going to save, let's have a little think. How many cuttings do I want for the moss pole? I think I'll save this one. This seems to have the least. I'll save this one for the moss pole. And we can pot up these ones. So I can't remember when I cut it up and put these into water, but they are well and truly rooted. A few months ago, I'll have a look back on some pictures because I did a reel on it. And but yeah, as you can see, so many tasty roots there, more than ready to be potted up. Again, this has been another thing on my to-do list for a long time. So I'm just going to ease these ones out of here. I always find that Monstera Adansonii root really, really well in water. So you can also use perlite or moss, but when plants are just really easy, and I've lost a little bit of a leaf there, but when they easily root in water, for me that's just the easiest thing. I haven't got to waste any substrate on them, and yeah, this is one that's always rooted really well for me in water, so why bother changing anything else about it? So yeah, I'm just going to pot these up into soil. I haven't tried to grow Monstera Adansonii in semi-hydro. I'm sure they would love it. I've got my big Monstera deliciosa, which I will also show you after this, because oh my gosh, the root system on that has gone absolutely bananas. And I'm like, I only sized it up what feels like 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm like, surely I don't need to go up again. But I will show you the root system because they are crazy. So I'm sure this plant would love semi-hydro, but I've got other plants that I need the semi-hydro for more, like my Alocasia and things like that. So these guys will be more than happy in the soil. So I'm just going to go in with my normal soil mix and yeah, we'll get them up nice full, potted up, and hopefully I'll just like how it grows a little bit better this time. So that's the plan for that. So yeah, I've got my pot here. This is a 15 centimetre pot. And I've got my DIY soil mix here. So I'm just going to put some soil into the bottom. Like that. And then I'm going to get my cuttings. And I'm like, I don't even think I really even need to detangle these roots here because they're quite happy. Got one leaf not looking so good in the middle there, so we'll get rid of that. And I'm actually going to give this a really good shower down after this and spray it with some peppermint soap, just in case there's any thrippy dippies going on, because as I said, I've got thrips in my living room at the moment and up in my loft as well, and it's just never ending. I swear. I have good times and I have bad times, and I'm definitely going through a bad time with pests at the moment. Of course, it's the time of year. We've got the windows open, all of that stuff. And like I said, I used to be so on it with pest control, in terms of the fact that I would, like, once a month, I would take all of my plants to the shower and hose them all down. But a lot of them are getting so big now, it's becoming more and more of a chore to stay on top of it. And life has just been a bit hectic recently. We're in the process of trying to sell our house, which means that the house always needs to be looking, okay, don't look over there because it's not looking immaculate at the moment. It looks like a big old mess. But generally, the house needs to be looking good all the time. And we've been away and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, anyway, I'm making excuses. I need to get on top of my pest control is what I'm saying, because yeah, it's just, I can definitely tell that I've been off the ball on it. So yeah, and I'll be pleased to get, I just want to get around to getting like all my propagations potted up, and then I want to start propagating some other bits and bobs. And this is the time to be propagating spring and summer because they will root the fastest, and then you can get them potted up again. And I'm just going around and making sure that all the roots are covered with the soil, and then just tapping it into position. There we go. New Monstera ansonii. It will just obviously start to fill itself out as the new growth comes in, and hopefully I will be a little bit happier with the way that it is growing. I might get it a trellis or something like that, so it's got something to climb up, because they do enjoy climbing. And obviously I'm getting that one onto a moss pole, but maybe a trellis for this will do well, just so it's got something like one of those metal sort of like Y-shaped metal ones with the crosses across. I'm thinking something like that, and that might help it to grow a little bit more structured and less sort of wild. That's the plan anyway. So that's number 2, plant chore done. So yes. Okay, what's next? Okay, so this is my Monstera deliciosa, and believe it or not, this is a top cutting that I took maybe a year ago from my big Monstera deliciosa, sorry, because it was getting too big. My main mother plant was getting too big. So I took the top cutting, which was like 3 leaves at the time, and now this monster has grown, and I don't really know what to do with her because she's getting so big. If I can just, I hope she's in shot, because That's as far back as the tripod will go. But this one here is the latest leaf that she's given me. And it is absolutely huge. And she's just a beast. And it's worth noting that she is currently being powered solely by Pianta Grow Light from Grow Gang. I will link them down below. I love the Pianta Grow Light. I have 2 that I purchased myself, and then they very kindly reached out to me and sent me another one with a stand as well, which I'll put in a picture of. But this sits at the back of my living room where there's no natural light, and it is literally, that whole leaf has been solely powered and grown with using this Pianta Grow Light. It's such a fantastic grow light, so I will link the details down below. But why I wanted to get this one over here was to show you these roots. Okay. Can you see that? How mad is that? And I don't even know if I can even save those roots because they're coming out the holes, and like by the time I try and pull them through, they're going to have probably broken anyway. But yeah, semi-hydro for Monstera deliciosa. If you're struggling with yours, all I can say is mine is absolutely loving it. So yeah, maybe something worth to consider. Right, I've brought down my next plant chore, which is to support, oh, I've just knocked over a plant. It's okay, it's okay. Which is to support this cupria better, because this system that's going on here is a bit disastrous, and you can see it's all starting to lean down like that. And I also want to size up this little pot here, but I wanted to show you this leaf because look at it. I went away and I came back to this. And this Orbifolia has not been very happy recently. It did have thrip, shock, and I treated it. And then, yeah, I came back, but I was not expecting it to be this big. And just before I went away, I decided that I was going to change watering my Calathea and Maranta with distilled water and give that a go to see if it helps with these sort of crispy edges that you get. Because I don't run any humidifiers in the house. It's just something else I just don't want to have to deal with. So yeah, and I don't know if it's anything to do with distilled water or if it's just too soon to say, but that leaf size is amazing. And this just sits in my north-facing bathroom, which is nice and humid, which is obviously what this plant likes, but it's got a reasonably sized north-facing window. It's bright, but it's not mega bright. And I have never received a leaf that big on my Orbifolia before, apart from when I bought the plant and it's been grown in like perfect conditions in the nursery. So as you can see, like this is the size of the leaves were before, and I had a couple of leaves that were slightly bigger, but nothing like that. So I am chuffed. Chuffed. Anyway, that was a little brief intro. Okay, so I've got quite a few of these little plant stakes that I've bought for other Alocasia. And I'm hoping that I can fashion something that will work a little bit better than what I've got going on at the moment. Because this plant is doing so well, it's popping with new growth, and I feel like I'm letting it down. That's how it feels. Oops. Okay, I'll remove this stake that I've been using. And I'm thinking some of these are going to be too long, but I have got some shorter ones. That's a shorter one, that's a shorter one. And that's a shorter one. These ones I think might be too long. So we'll see. Like, look at the windy windiness of this stem. Maybe you could deal with a taller one. What do we think? No. It's going to stretch it too much. So we'll stick with the shorter ones. And hopefully I can get it to sit a bit more upright. I think it's okay if some of them are drooping down a little bit. How does that look? I feel like I could probably do with getting a few more, maybe some slightly shorter ones, just to sort of frame out these other ones here at the front. Oh, that works. That one's too short. Okay. It's not perfect, but I feel like it is a little bit better than what it was. And I can always get a few more shorter ones just to frame out maybe a bit more around the front. But yeah. And I think also what I need to do is start rotating this plant a little bit more, because that's why it's sort of drooping down that way, because it's sort of searching for the sun. But yeah, for now, I'm happy enough with that I've supported it a little bit better. Okay, so the final thing I wanted to do was just to size up this Alocasia cuculata. Oh, that's what I call it anyway. Because it's been in this pot for quite a long time and its roots have been exposed. Oh, a little corm in there. We will propagate that. And yeah, I just wanted to assess the root system. I'm going to get it into this slightly bigger clear pot. Yeah, so the roots actually look really good. There's a couple of dead ones around the top that I'm just going to pull off. Oh, another corm. Yeah, I'm literally going to not mess with it too much. I'm just going to add a little bit of this coarse semi-hydro mix from Soil Ninja. Again, I'll link that down below. It is my favourite semi-hydro mix at the moment, the coarse one, because it's less messy than the fine one. And if you're clumsy like me, or you just mess around with your plants a lot, you will have pon or semi-hydro just all over your floor all the time. And my poor Hoover is just like, can't take it anymore. So yeah. Just going to get this down the sides here, try and cover like the root system. This is why clear pots are so fantastic, because you can really see that there's like a section here where it's not, the roots are not covered. So I can get something and just press that down to make sure all those roots are covered. I'll then give that a good drink with some fertilized water, and we're done. Okay, so I think that's it for this video today. I've managed to tick off maybe 3 things from the list, 3 or 4, which is good. There's still loads more stuff I wanted to do, like obviously pest treatments and cleaning my shelves where those infested plants have been, and there's lots of other stuff I need to do, but I will save that for another video. If you do like this kind of chaotic plant chores updates kind of a video, please let me know below in the comments, or if you have any questions, let me know as well. I do reply to all my comments. And if you have enjoyed this video today, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below, and I will see you in the next video. See you later.